Okay Len, with the Year 1 Season 2 Ranked PvP update, you can now buy MAWAMURK from the Battle Shop, and you can also unlock some crowned versions of MAWAMURK by climbing up the ranks. So of course, in this video, I'm going to be going over some sets that you can use on your MAWAMURK. So first up Len, let's start off with the TPs, the training points, which most MAWAMURKs are just going to be investing everything into defensive play. So, if you want a range tanky MAWAMURK, you'll want 200 health and 200 range defense. Then we'll want some energy, which 60 will get us to the 250 mark, but if you specifically don't need that much, you can always reduce it. We can also invest a little into speed, which is really only used for the mirror matchups, MAWAMURK vs MAWAMURKs, the faster one will win. So 8 speed is fine, but if everybody is running 8, then why not run 16 to outspeed lows? But then if people are running 16 speed to outspeed 8 speed, then why not run 24? But yeah, I wouldn't really worry too much about this, I would just go for 8. And then the rest of the TPs can either go into the melee defense stat to make us a little bit bulkier on the melee side, or we could also put it into whichever attacking stat we're going to be using just to hit a little bit harder. I personally, though, would just throw this into melee defense. But if you want a melee tanky MAWAMURK, you can just flip the defensive stats around, so 200 health, 200 melee defense, 60 energy, 8 speed, and 32 range defense. Next up, let's go over the personality options. If we're running a range tanky MAWAMURK, we can go with Very Clever to increase our defensive stat even more so, Sluggish because we aren't using our speed stats, and then we can either run Frail if you're using range moves, or Clumsy if you're using melee moves. Or if for whatever reason you want to use a mixed attacking MAWAMURK, we can instead run Very Sluggish with Clever, and then the other positive personality can be Robust for more defense, or Brawny or Smart if you want more offense. In my case, because I put the last remaining TPs into melee defense, I would go Robust here. And if we're running a melee tanky MAWAMURK, we can do the exact same thing as the TPs and just flip them. So we would run Very Robust along with Sluggish, and then either Frail or Clumsy depending on which attacking moves you have. Or again, if we're running a mixed attacking MAWAMURK, we can go with Very Sluggish along with Robust, and then the other positive personality can be Clever for more defense, or Brawny or Smart if you want some more offense. Now, let's go over the abilities. The normal ability is Swampy, which will make our plant damaging moves lower the opponent's speed stat by 1 stage. This can be used by either the melee or range attacking MAWAMURK as long as you have a plant type attacking move. If you don't, then you wouldn't really benefit from having this ability. And then the secret ability is Woodsman, which will make us immune to plant type moves, and our melee attack stat will be increased if we're hit by one. This again can be used by any version of MAWAMURK, melee or ranged attacking. Clearly it would be better suited for the melee attacking MAWAMURK so that they can take advantage of the melee attack stat increases that you get. But for ranged attacking MAWAMURKs, it wouldn't hurt having an immunity to plant type moves, and also if you aren't running any plant type moves yourself to trigger Swampy, then Woodsman would just be the clear choice. For the held item, we're mostly going to want something defensive, which for the most part will either want to be heavy armor or heavy shield, depending on which defensive MAWAMURK you're running. Melee tanks would want heavy armor, and ranged tanks would want heavy shield. But you also have more options like Health Amulet, Milkshake, Mysterious Dust, or even a Pearl. And now finally for the moves, every single MAWAMURK is going to want Photosynthesis, especially because we're trying to be tanky, so we'll want to keep MAWAMURK around for as long as possible. But for the other moves, it really depends on what you specifically want, and there's quite a lot of options to choose from. For utility, if you want more healing, then you can use Sap Plants. If you want hazard removal, then you can run Mudslide or Tear Down. You have Driving Force, which will help force the opponent's Loomian out of the battle if they're setting up, or to rack up chip damage if you have Hazard set up. Provoke can shut down the opponent from using support moves. And even Dodge is a viable option, especially when paired with Health Amulets and or Sap Plants. It's a lot of healing. And now for the attacking move options, which if you want to run a melee attacking MAWAMURK, then we can consider bulk up so we can become bulkier and we can also hit harder. For Water Stab, we can use Wave Wrecker for immediate damage, or we could also run Aqua Jaws, which isn't immediately as threatening, but it can break through otherwise bulky Loomians. For Plant Stab, we have Vine Lash, and then for coverage, we have Gnarly Gash. But if you want to run a ranged attacking MAWAMURK, then for Water Stab we can use Tsunami for immediate damage, or we could also run Mash Wave, which won't do as much damage right away, but it will let us break through bulkier Loomians. For Plant Stab, we can use Nature's Force for immediate damage, or we could also run Life Drain if you wanted even more healing. And then for coverage, we have Boom Bash and Landslide. Also, if you wanted to run a mixed attacking MAWAMURK, then you can just use a mixture of anything you'd like. So yeah, I hope this video has helped you to decide what type of MAWAMURK you want to use, because as we've gone over, there's basically two versions of MAWAMURK, but small details about them can change the set drastically. And of course, this is just how I would run a MAWAMURK, so if you want to leave a comment showing off all the sets that you've made, you're more than welcome to do so.